Hi there, and welcome to the Living with SMA podcast. We're here to have conversations about living with spinal muscular atrophy. Throughout this podcast, we will be covering lots of different topics, from preparing for university, getting the most from your personal budget, sex and relationships, and lots more. So we invite different hosts from across the SMA community to come together here. We want to answer your questions, provide you with useful tips and recommendations, and also share personal stories. So please do reach out and connect with us here at the charity SMA UK. Thank you for listening, and we hope you find the podcast useful.
In part 3 of this episode, we talk about college freedom and change of routine, the assumption that twins like the same things, and also life after college and future goals. And sort of moving on from secondary school, obviously that brings us to sort of more so where you guys are now. You say you're in college right now. Sam, tell me a little bit about how that's going so far.
It's a lot more fun in school because now we're doing something that we want to do, and we're working towards a career that we've been close for a while. I think we were actually recommended to go into a higher level course, so we haven't really been seeing as the wheelchair. We haven't really been doubted of our abilities, but yeah, I'm okay. I think what he means is that we've just when we applied for our college course, we applied for a level 2 course, and when they looked at our GCSE grades, they recommended us for a higher course. What you were saying is that we haven't been judged based on our physical disability. It was all via our achievements in education. So we were just as good as everyone else, and we are working as hard, if not double, compared to everyone else, to try and get the career that we want, just as everyone else is. We're enjoying it probably double, like I say.
Yeah, I think that was a very modest and polite way to say, just say it. You're better than everyone else. Just say
it. They're a little bit lazy, I must say. We've always had a lot of motivation with our work. We understand that we have to work to get what we want, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and obviously college is quite a difference compared to secondary school. I think for me, the thing that I noticed the most was the relaxation of rules. When you've spent so many years in school, it's very routine based. You have your set times, and you've got specific times where you've got specific lessons and homework and everything. Whereas college was, I think I found the biggest shock to my system because it just seems so much more relaxed. You had this timetable with lots of different gaps in it, and you could sort of come and go as you please, and it was a lot less scheduled, which I think I struggled with because I'm quite a routine based person. How did you guys cope with that? Did that work in your favor or did it work against you?
We agree with what you're saying. We're the same. We like routine. So we make our own routines. We say, right, we're gonna wake up and we're gonna do this work now. We're gonna have it done by the end of the day. So I guess we work as much as we can without the timetable. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, we're just talking among ourselves. It's okay.
You're fine.
Yeah.
No, it's a good point, and I do agree. I think the routine is a big shock to the system. I know I personally struggled. I never struggled with anxiety up until I started college, and then it kind of just came from nowhere and hit me. And I think a lot of that came down to this freedom, which a lot of my peers, flourished from. They loved it, but for me, that was a real struggle. What about sort of the pandemic? How did that affect your learning? Did you cope well with? Was it lots of online learning for you?
It it was actually better for us, to be fair, because I mean we pretty much taught ourselves for those final 2 years. People were loud in our class. Yeah, people were very disruptive, so it was nice to
Oh,
sit back and study how we liked it, watching YouTube videos and Googling things rather than hearing it from a teacher. And we had each other to help understand it. Alex was always the driving force behind, come on, we need to study, we need to revise, but it was way easier without
yeah,
everyone else there. I guess we just had the freedom to do what we wanted and when we wanted, right? Yeah, and it just helped us understand things better at our own pace.
yeah. That's good. There's definitely some positives that have come out of the pandemic, and I think the disabled community have been brilliant at highlighting that actually, you know, it's not all bad. Some changes
Yeah,
have made a positive impact, which I think is
yeah,
good. Um, I've touched a little bit there on sort of the stresses and anxieties. School and education does bring out a pressure in us, and especially in today's day and age at school and college with the rise of social media and things. All this kind of stuff wasn't really an issue in school back in my day. Have you guys noticed any? Um, have you got sort of any comments on that in regards to social media and education pressures these days?
uh, I mean, we we try not to put pressure on ourselves because I think that makes us uh it we get more nervous with it. Um, so we try and relax ourselves as much as we can. I think at first with school I struggled a bit in terms of the learning, but then like I said, we worked at our own pace and we managed to improve in areas where we struggle. Um, as for social media, I guess we probably what can I say? We probably should know a bit more on social media. Yeah, I mean, it's not everything. I think people have to understand that you have to also focus on your life first before going to social media. Um, so I guess that's what we try and do. We try and put our own situation first, and then you know post selfies on Instagram. Um, yeah, it's better that way when you put your situation first. Keep yourself to yourself unless you want other people.
Exactly. I think that is
Yeah,
the problem now, isn't it? A lot of people are
hmm
comparing themselves to each other online, and that's almost
yeah,
creating this problem in itself of people getting themselves stressed and anxious. And if you're not getting the same grades as matey down the road,
hmm
it is a pressure. So moving forward, you're obviously enjoying your college experiences at the moment because you're passionate about your media and things. What's working well about your current setup compared to previous education experiences?
I think one thing that has improved between secondary school and college is our support workers. I think in secondary school we no, it was a lot more physical in secondary school. Yeah, but like in college, we our support workers they just kind of let us they help us where we need it, but they just let us get on with what we need to do, and it's like having a friend there. Yeah, it's more of a friend than teaching assistant or a learning mentor, whatever they're called. I don't think we've ever liked the difference between teacher and student. We don't find it very, you know, we don't like the fact that someone can say, go out of the class because I said so. Is like having the seeing each other as equals is like it's a much more relaxing environment. It's like we come in class and we go, oh, just get on with your project and let me know if you need help, rather than you need to do this, you need to do this. It's just a more relaxed environment.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure. And when it comes to having that support as well, like that TA support, um, it's really important to touch on that as well, because that can play such an important role within our education experience. Because having somebody support you for however many years that you're, 5 years throughout school, um, and now you're at college, having that person by your side can play a big part, can't it? So it's important to get along with them and for them to know your
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah, I think the thing is with college support, it's a lot more natural. Like you say, there's no boundaries. It's not teacher student. It's we're equals, and it's a lot less formatted. You don't feel like um you're like being pushed in a certain direction.
Thank you.
Yep. You're given the especially with our course, you given the like creative freedom. They literally give you a project brief, and say, think of an idea based on this, and then the rest is up to you, and it's
Yeah,
just way easier.
yeah, no, that's nice. And being twins as well, do you guys ever sort of get annoyed? Do people just assume that you have similar interests? Like, I know you both obviously like your media, but you obviously have different passions as well that you'll want to pursue at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more into football than you are. You're a lot more into I don't know what you prefer. I think they're mostly we're the same, but there are some like areas where we're different. I think if you spend enough time with us, you can definitely see the differences. Um, for example, he keeps talking over me.
Oh, sorry.
No. I could be the more talkative one, but like sometimes I just hide in the shadows and just listen to a conversation. Yeah. We definitely rely on each other for a lot of things like that. And we bounce off each other like we're doing right now. Yeah. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
we are different, but it's not annoying because it's fair for people to assume that we have similar interests. We spend a lot of time together. We have we similar experiences. Yeah.
cool.
So I get it. I get it. Um, but like I said, if you spend enough time with us, you see the differences and you appreciate our differences and our individuality, I guess.
Yeah, and then moving that forward even more to life after college. What are your plans? Sort of, have you got any sort of goals, aspirations, like moving forward?
I think we're currently looking into university after our second year at college, and then I'm not sure. We have ideally we both want to go into like some sort of like TV presenting together. I guess as we move forward, opportunities will come up and we'll figure out what we want to do from there. I guess because like I said, opportunities present themselves, and we I guess we could get offered something and it could change our lives. Um,
Yeah,
so we can plan too much, but we have a general goal of where we want to be, which is in TV or making videos or skits. But then it might change. You never know. Life throws a lot at you, so.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? You never know. Ant and Dec, eat your heart out. They've got some competition now with you two. Uh, well, I apologise for feeding that because there's nothing worse than when you get the same comments from people. But hey, you said you wanted to be TV presenters. What do you expect? And guys, just to end on a sort of positive note, what advice would you give to anybody who is potentially going through a bit of a rough time? Maybe their school, they're struggling with access and or stress or anything like that. What positive message would you say to somebody to sort of inspire them to keep going?
I guess there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not going to go into detail, but there's been stuff going on with us.
Personal issues.
Yeah. And we've just had to
wait it out.
Yeah.
See what comes next. I guess everything turns out at the end. You never know. A really bad situation could be a blessing in disguise. You could just life takes you down a road and it may be a bumpy one, but you'll end up in a really good place where you need to be.
Yeah. So keep going and everything will turn out eventually. Everything will turn out well.
It will. And I think we should just say as well, just because we all have disabilities, we're all bringing something to the table. We have skills as well. So really sort of focus on what your passion is, whether it's media or whether it's something completely different. Believe in yourself, have that sort of motivation and belief that just because you have a disability, you still have a skill and you would absolutely contribute to a workplace or university environment. So yeah, brilliant stuff, guys. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today. It's been lovely speaking with you. Um, and yeah, just best of luck with the media. I'll be keeping an eye on your socials and seeing what other little skits you've got coming up.
We'll see if we can sort something out. We'll have to move on.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, guys, thank you. And best of luck with everything. And yeah, that was another episode of the Living with SMA podcast. Big thank you to Sam and Alex. And yeah, we've been talking about disability and education. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Living with SMA podcast. We hope you can join us again next time, but in the meantime, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You can find out more on our website at smauk.org.uk.